Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about my review of the Elimination Chamber. And oh boy, I've wanted to talk about this one since it finished. This was a really good show. Only one real down. I'll get to that in a little bit. But overall, it was a fun show, great action, great surprises, and just overall fun program. And we kick it off with both America and the Canadian National Anthem, which American National Anthem went over well in Toronto, as it got booed, as it should. And throughout the night, we heard Pat McAfee wasn't a fan of that. I don't know. I'm not getting into that here, but it was annoying, and he needed to stop. So, first official action we get, it's the Women's Elimination Chamber, where the winner goes on to face either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. I won't be reviewing Raw, so spoiler alert, Io Sky is the new women's champion. Huh? This road to WrestleMania has been interesting, I'll say that. Really picked up since the Royal Rumble. Our participants: former NXT Women's Champion and Ring of Honor Champion Roxanne Perez, the former Women's Tag Team Champion, Bianca Belair, along with Naomi, former Women's World Champion, Liv Morgan, the recently returned Alexa Bliss, and former Women's Champion, Bayley. And we start off the match with Naomi and Liv Morgan. The other competitors are in pods. But before we can get to the first bit of action, we hear, "A storm is coming." Jade Cargill makes her return, makes a beeline to the chamber. Alexa Bliss has a look, Liv Morgan has a look of shock on her face. You see Bianca like, yeah, get her. She's in the chamber. She has both Liv and Naomi right in front of her. It looks like she's about to wind up and hit Liv. Takes out Naomi, which I thought was going to happen, which, good on you, WWE. Starts completely beating her down. Naomi's crawling to the cage exit, looking to escape. Jade then grabs the door for the chamber and just wham! Drives it into Naomi. She gets stretchered out and eliminated. Definitely a very impactful way to make a comeback. Yeah, that was a nice big surprise. I love that. And then that entire moment, Jade is kicking Naomi's butt. In the pod, you see Bianca just, she's got her hands on her head. She's like pulling out her hair. She can't believe this is happening. More than likely, she's going to be the mastermind. Like, I think post-WrestleMania, we're going to figure that out. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. Next woman in, of course, it's Bianca Belair. She's still got her head in her hands. She's feeling like this is unbelievable. She goes to the cage door, looks at Naomi, it's like, what happened? What did you do? And then she just turns around, eats a couple moves from Liv, but then she gets back into it, and yeah, they just go move for move with one another. Next woman in, it's Bayley. Love seeing Bayley back. For a little while, Bianca and Bayley double team Liv, do double team moves. Eventually, Bianca does turn on Bayley after a little bit. Next woman is Roxanne Perez, and Roxanne and Bayley go at it for a little bit, and that was definitely interesting. They're using the cage to their advantage. Bayley with an interesting looking cutter. She attempts the rose plant, but then gets hit by an Oblivion to eliminate Bayley. Then Liv and Bianca go on top of the pod that's holding the last competitor, Alexa Bliss. Liv is hanging on by Bianca's hair. Bianca then takes it, whips Liv Morgan with it, which you can then see a big old red mark on her stomach. And this brings in our last competitor. It's Alexa Bliss. And at that point, Bianca hits a crossbody from the top of the cage. Gets Perez in. Only gets a 2 count. Covers Liv. Bianca then tries to get Liv up for a superplex. That gets blocked. Then we get the Tower of Doom spot. Liv attempts an Oblivion. That gets blocked. Raquel tries for a Pop Rocks. That gets blocked. Alexa Bliss with a Twisted Bliss eliminates Roxanne Perez. Bianca attempts a KOD. That gets countered into a Hurricane Rana, into a Stomp. Bliss has Liv up for the Abigail DDT, but that gets blocked into a roll-up, only hits a 2. Bianca with a Sister Abigail, and that eliminates Alexa Bliss. Liv then covers Bianca, only gets a 2 count. Liv with a Code Breaker. Bianca gets up, immediately hits a spear, only for a 2 count. Bianca with a Powerbomb, goes for a 450, that gets blocked. Attempts a KOD, that gets blocked. Liv hits a Code Breaker. Bianca blocks the Oblivion, finally hits the KOD to pick up the win and move on to WrestleMania. That was definitely a lot of fun. Elimination Chamber, from Jade Cargill's return to the big win. Then you see Bianca, she's celebrating on the ramp. Who comes out? It's Rhea Ripley, at the time the current women's champion, and the new women's champion, Io Sky. They all three have a stare down. Like I said, Io just beat Rhea Ripley on Raw. I did get to see the end of that, but I'm not going to be covering it because I missed a majority of Raw last night because I was at the movies. So I will not be covering Raw this week, so I'll give you that little spoiler. We might be looking at a triple threat match come WrestleMania, in which I know a lot of people, triple threat, it's not that interesting. I think with these three, they can definitely pull something like this off. So, then we go to our next matchup, as it's Tiffany Stratton teaming up with Trish Stratus to take on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. And at the start, all four go for their finishers, but their partners pull each other out of the way, which is honestly kind of interesting. Trish and Nia had a really good back and forth for a little while. Eventually, Trish does hit the chick kick, but gets countered on the Stratusfaction, which I love the name of that move. Candice with a big bulldog. That was very interesting. Candice and Naomi with a dropkick slam, which that looked a little awkward, but whatever. Candice then tags Nia back in, hits a hip attack, and then a stink face, Rikishi style. Candice tags in, hits a couple of head smashes. Then Trish counters, tags in Tiffany, goes on a little bit of a run, hits a big old Alabama slam, but then Nia comes in, hits a spine buster. She goes for the prettiest moonsault ever, but that gets countered by Candice. Nia gets in, hits a drop kick, which I can't remember the last time I saw Nia hit a drop kick. Hit a leg drop, only for a 2. Candice LeRae tacks in, attempts a Death Valley driver, but that gets blocked. Tiffany tags in, hits a couple big kicks, prettiest moonsault ever to pick up the win for her team. I hate to say this. I know they're doing this for Trish for her anniversary with the company. This could have been a SmackDown match. Like, I feel like this would have been fine for a title match, and then we see, like, Trish helping Stratton prepare, and so we could get a definitive win over Nia. I don't know. I feel like this was the wrong move to make. Then we get a video package from The Rock where he just wants WWE to grow more. Then we see Rock's recent history with Cody, with Roman, and it's setting up something. So yeah, very, very weird. We got this right in the middle of the show. I thought this was going to be setting up the whole Cody Rhodes Rock thing, but that doesn't come until after the main event match. So, but first we got our unsanctioned match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And this was less of a pure wrestling match and more like a fight. Like, these two obviously don't like each other, and they beat 7 shades of you-know-what out of one another, including brawling up into the crowd, using, like, hockey sticks, tons of chairs. One point we see Kevin Owens tossed Sami Zayn to the outside through a stack of tables. Can't remember the last time I saw a stack of tables break. That was awesome. We saw trash can lids. We saw one of the monitors from the announce table being used. And then Sammy brings out the big gun. It's a chair, but it's wrapped in barbed wire, and I just... So he kind of sets it up in the... He starts hitting Kevin Owens with it. Then he sets it up, legs out, like a regular folding chair. Hits a drop toe on him into it, which that looked like hell. Then he grabs a couple more chairs, sets them up, sets the barbed wire chair between them, and then hits a powerbomb through it. A Blue Thunder Bomb through it, only getting a 2 count. Owens then hits a pop-up powerbomb, but Sami Zayn rolls to the outside where the ref checks on him. Then Kevin Owens gives Sami Zayn the hardcore necktie, which is a chair unfolded on top of Sami's head and neck, and then just throws him into a bunch of ring posts. Then he sets up for a couple of power bombs into the apron, just like what happened when Kevin Owens debuted in NXT and Sami Zayn was NXT champion. Oh, the callbacks! Kevin gets him back in, pins him, and picks up the win. All that time, officials are checking on Sammy, making him feel like a big deal. Kevin Owens then rolls outside the ring, starts pulling up the mats on the ground, exposing the concrete underneath. He grabs Sammy, looks like he's about to hit a pile driver. Then we hear, I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand. It's Randall Keith Orton making his return from injury, in which Kevin Owens actually took him out. It's been a while. Immediately gets in the ring. They start brawling. Then Randy Orton with an RKO to Owens. Randy then picks up the chair, looks at it, tosses it to the outside. He's ready to hit the punt kick, in which we haven't seen that in years. But officials kind of grab him, so Kevin Owens escapes. So it looks like more than likely we are going to get Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, which, yeah, I'm all for. I'm ready to go. Then we get the announcement of Stephanie McMahon's new podcast, which I think is with Pat McAfee, which, you know, whatever. So, yeah, this has been a very entertaining show so far. But now we go to our main event match, as it's the Men's Elimination Chamber, where the winner goes on to WrestleMania to face Cody Rhodes, the WWE Champion. Our participants, we have CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, John Cena, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest. Starting us off in the match first, you got Drew and Seth. Drew immediately tries to hit a Claymore that misses. Seth tries for a stomp that misses, and they just brawl, and they pretty much fight like right outside CM Punk's pod, and you can see him just heckling him, come on, and then at some point, one of the lights inside Punk's pod kept falling, and just a funny little moment. Seth and Drew go back and forth for a little bit, with Drew hitting a gnarly-looking slingshot into the bottom turnbuckle. Next man out of the pod is Damian Priest. He goes in, pretty much runs house for a little bit, hits a razor's edge on Seth to the outside. Drew attempts a Claymore, but that gets blocked. Seth with a super kick. Priest attempts a South of Heaven. That gets blocked. Then Drew with a massive spine buster. Then a powerbomb to Seth, only for a 2 count. Seth then with a crossbody moonsault combo, only for a 2. Priest with that bell ringer, which that always gets me. Then Priest goes for his old school like move, where he does the crossbody. This time he does a Hurricane Rana, which was crazy looking. Next man in, it's John Cena, and he immediately goes for his 5 moves of doom. He's about to hit the AA on Seth Rollins. Drew with a big old Claymore, but then Seth with a roll-up and eliminates Drew first. Actually, Priest hits the roll-up, so that eliminates Drew. Drew doesn't leave at first. He hits a Claymore for Priest. Then Logan Paul comes in, hits a big old frog splash from the top of the pod, and eliminates Damian Priest. Last man in, it's CM Punk. And he goes pretty much right after Seth Rollins. Tosses him into the cage, into the pod. Seth attempts a pedigree, but that gets blocked. Cena attempts an AA, that gets blocked. Logan with a buckshot lariat, but that misses Cena. Then Punk hits a GTS to pick up the win, to eliminate Logan Paul. Then Cena and Punk get Seth Rollins hit a heart attack, which is a move made famous by Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, some Canadian greats. And while Seth is down, Cena and Punk look at each other. They're like, "Hey, how's it going, man?" They shake hands. They share a little embrace. And then they just go to town on one another. Like that moment was so good. They keep fighting. Cena attempts an AA, that gets blocked. Punk attempts a GTS, that gets blocked. Cena locks in the STF, but Punk breaks out of it. Punk locks in the Anaconda Vice, but Cena counters it into a roll-up for a 2 count. Punk attempts a big old crossbody that gets caught into an AA, only for a 2 count. Cena then goes to the top rope. I don't know what he's attempting, but Seth gets up, knocks him off the top, and then hits a buckle bomb into the cage and through the pod. So it's just down to Seth and Punk for now. Seth attempts a pedigree, that gets blocked. Punk attempts a GTS, that gets blocked. Seth hits a pedigree, only for a 2. Attempts another one, that gets blocked by Punk, who hits a backdrop. Seth attempts the superplex Falcon Arrow combo, but that gets blocked. Punk knocks Seth off the top rope, hits a big old Macho Man elbow drop, attempts a GTS that gets blocked into a buckle bomb. Seth attempts a super stomp that gets blocked. Cena attempts an AA that gets blocked. Punk with a GTS. Cena with an AA. So that's Seth eliminated. And that just leaves, honestly, 2 of the GOATs. CM Punk and John Cena. What year are we living in? This is like 2010 all over again. What is going on? Punk immediately attempts a GTS, only gets a 2. Cena gets a AA, only for a 2. Tries to lock in the STF, but that gets blocked. Punk kicks Cena off of him. And so he's now angled face down in the ropes. Seth Rollins with a big stomp. Then Cena grabs Punk, locks in the STF nice and tight. However, instead of tapping out, Punk passes out. Ref sees it, calls for the bell. So your winner, via submission, going on to WrestleMania, it's John Cena. And honestly, I'm going to say this before this finishing angle happens. I was definitely against this. I felt like Cena's struggle would have been the more interesting story than him just winning the title outright and breaking Flair's record. But this finishing angle changed my freaking mind. So, post-match, Cena's in the ring. He's celebrating. Elimination Chamber disappears. So then lights go out. I thought it was going to be the Wyatt Six for whatever reason. But then out comes Cody Rhodes. They have a nice little face-off. They shake hands. They embrace. Then you hear, "If you smell," because now it's time for Cody Rhodes to make his decision. And out comes not just The Rock, but Travis Scott, famous rapper who has been doing show music for the WWE lately. So Rock and Travis Scott come to the ring. Rock grabs a microphone, says, "Cody Rhodes, the moment has arrived. You'll embrace me as my champion. I want it all, Cody. I want your mind, body, and soul. If the answer's yes, you'll live forever." So Cody kind of looks down. He's still not sure. Rock then says, "Look me in the eyes. If the answer is no, then tonight the dream dies again." Oh, dude. Cody then picks up the microphone and says, "I want it all, Rock. But my soul no longer belongs to me. You know why? I sold my soul to them years ago. So, hey, Rock, you want my soul? Go fuck yourself. No censoring. We got an F-bomb from Cody Rhodes." So then we see kind of Cena, Scott, and Rock kind of surrounding Cody. Then we then see Cena kind of just celebrating the moment. Comes up to Cody. They embrace. To the point that Cody's not facing The Rock. Cena is. Then we see Rock give the signal. And you just see Cena's face change. He pats Cody Rhodes on the shoulder, backs him up, right into the kick to the family jewels. And then Cena just goes off on Cody. Grabs Cody's watch that The Rock gave to him on the Netflix debut. Just starts beating the heck out of him. Grabs Cody's WWE title. Belt shot. Then Cena and Travis Scott rip Cody's shirt off. Lay him flat. Hold him. Rock has his weight belt he had from SmackDown. Says Cody's soul and the death date of Dusty Rhodes. And just starts whipping Cody with it.
Here's what I found.
Oh, stop it. And then Cody's just busted wide open. The Rock takes his hand, wipes the blood, wipes it on the weight belt. And at that point, Rock, Cena, and Scott leave the ring, go up the ramp. Now, I thought this was when the show would be over and we'd get the post-show. Then we see Michael Cole get in the ring. He's checking on Cody. Cody then sits up. Officials get in the ring. Cody's on wobbly legs. He collects his stuff. Then we see Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on either side of him, helping him to the back. Then you got Pat McAfee in the back doing whatever. And that's how the show ends. And I'm going to say this as a young man who has been watching wrestling all his life. I never thought there'd be a day in hell we'd see a John Cena heel turn. Like, John Cena has been the company man for years now. He's always the smiling, white meat babyface Hulk Hogan clone. And while he did do good stuff with his white rapper gimmick in the early 2000s, he was always the man to get the new t-shirt or, the big WrestleMania entrance, and always holding the title. And now, after 20 plus years, he's a villain. He's a bad guy. We can actually boo him, and it's legit. This is crazy. This now hypes me up for this Cody Rhodes John Cena match. And heck, I'm going to say it. And I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth. Give John Cena the title. Who am I? What is going on? I will admit this road to WrestleMania was a little bland coming out of the Royal Rumble. It has picked up. Like, oh my god, I am so excited for WrestleMania now. And now some questions arise. Is John Cena still going to wear his jorts? What music is he going to have? This is all wild, crazy, and so unexpected. I love this. I can't wait to see what happens. So until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.